This One Up podcast is brought to you by Games for Windows. Welcome to Better PC Gaming. Created with the idea that gaming should deliver more. Games for Windows branded titles bring you all the fun of gaming without all the work. And with the hottest titles around and Windows Vista compatibility, Games for Windows promises to deliver great new gaming experiences every time you play.
Well, my birth name is Alan. I prefer Fang, though. I wouldn't say I've lived the most normal life by any means. From one time bathing in the tub at the age of, if I remember right, 2, my mom was watching me. Somehow I made the water in the tub forming the bubbles in the shape of islands. I would guess I somehow did this psychically. Now this brings us to the present time. I brought up in a Christian family, but that really didn't fit me. At the moment, I am a Wiccan, 2 years into with much knowledge gained so far. I guess I'm what you would call a truth seeker. Someone who seeks to understand whatever he can, be it logic or not, no matter if it goes against my beliefs or not. Now, as for why I'm here, I indeed feel at least 97% that I'm not human. Though like most others I've seen come to this board, I'm not exactly sure what I am. This is something I've been wondering for years. I would indeed wish to know how I can use my magic as well as why I was able to do them.
Not a problem. The reason why is simple enough. You have always had a stronger sense of the world than most. When you imagine something and then feel it coming to reality, it really does happen for you. You can manipulate the very reality around you. To be honest, I would not be surprised if you could start turning water to wine. I did that once. It didn't change color or anything, but it had the same effects. Very useful at parties. Anyway, all you need to do is learn to focus it. As a child, your imagination was greater. Therefore, you are able to conjure more elaborate things. It'll take you some time to reawaken those powers. I suggest starting out small, like making a thunderstorm or something. Very simple. Focus and feel. You will be very surprised at the effects. Not everyone can do this, so that's why it's denounced as a real occurrence. If just anyone can't duplicate and prove it, it's not real, or so they say. I barely made it through that.
Wow. Hello and welcome to GFW Radio. These intros are getting more surreal.
That wasn't an intro. That was a Hero of the Web, and it was from an Otherkin site. Otherkin, of course, are people who believe that they are, reincarnated, but that their true essence and their true identity is that of some fictional, or what we believe to be a fictional persona. And
apparently, that one guy thought he was Jesus
or something. And in recent years, they've started to realize that they have these epiphanies as they discuss it in the forum. And maybe he realizes that he's Professor X or a video game character or something like that. So this is the guy on the road to epiphany.
I love the guy who was start small with things like thunderstorms.
Yeah.
What's big?
Pretty big.
Moving planets.
Yeah. It's medium.
So we're here. It's June 26th, 2007. This is one of our notorious deadline podcasts. So we're not going to go as long as we sometimes do. And anyone who complains on message boards, I have a special message for you about that this week, and that's fuck you. Because we're really busy.
A very special message.
Very special message from me to you. We'll have a longer one next time. We do have to earn our paycheck with the whole magazine thing every now and then. So let's introduce ourselves, starting with you, young man.
Ryan Scott.
Shawn Elliott. Sean Malloy.
And Darren Gladbone is off on one of his. I said Gladbone. Get how I did that? Gladstone. I said
by Ryan.
He's off on one of his vacations. I don't know. This dude has more vacation time than like the president. I'm off to Camp David for another 2 weeks. All right, see you, Darren. Anyway, he'll be back eventually. And so it's the four of us trying to get through making a magazine. We got Ryan here. He's eating his Rice Krispie treat. We got Sean is eating some scary looking, drinking some. What is that thing?
Java Monster.
It's in the
says
Diablo
coffee
font.
plus energy on it.
Yeah.
Energy.
Oh, really?
It's bottled energy.
It's not
like you didn't need more
from the grocery outlet. It's basically the place where the shit that falls out the back of the truck ends up. But I had because they were 25 cents each, like 24-ounce cans of.
So that's got to be good.
Of an energy drink called Dr. Dog Light, DOGGLITE. That ish tasted like if you took a diet Shasta cream soda and threw a No-Dose in there. It was bad.
Wow.
So
that's a complex, rich flavor.
Java Monster is much better.
You seem to be the only one not poisoning yourself here, Shawn Elliott.
I was doing it earlier.
I got my usual Diet Coke here.
Yeah, I had a couple of those today.
All right. So we're wired and ready to go. We got the sugar and caffeine and energy.
Yeah.
Shawn is drinking. So
sugar.
Sugar. Yeah. We have anything to talk about?
All wired up, nothing to talk about.
Nothing to talk about. Shit. Well, see you next week.
We got stuff.
No, we do. We got the enemy territory Quake Wars beta started. That's probably the bigger PC news this week.
Yeah.
Though I think only you have downloaded it so far.
Played the hell of it. Yeah.
And you're liking
Played
it.
the hell of it.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, I'm liking it a lot, and we'll be talking about that. We had a very strange occurrence on Friday as I left work.
Yeah.
We should start there.
Oh, yeah, your strange occurrence. Okay.
So,
yes.
You set it up right. My friend was down from out of town, and we were going to go see. Well, it wasn't even Friday. It was like Wednesday or something. We were going to go see a concert. It was cool. Buck 65 and Sage Francis, the Fillmore. But as I'm leaving, I look over and I see someone running across the street at us, and I was like, "What's this about? The guy going to ask for change or what directions or something?" And so we messed the story. The guy like pulls out a notepad and a pen, and then he like puts it in my hand, and he's like, "You guys are the truth," like you guys, and he starts like. I was like, "Whoa, dude, what's going on?" and I realized, like, he, and Hans, my friend, was looking like, "What the hell's going on?" And then we realized he wanted an autograph. And I was like, "Dude, wow. What is going on, man? This is crazy. You don't want me to write my name down for you, dude." And Hans was backing me up on that. And so it turned out, of course, that, it was a guy he's one of our listeners and a fan, and it was cool, and it was a trip at the same time. Because first of all, like this is like what you see the guy who stepped on a rake and hit himself in the dick on America's Funniest Videos, and you're like, let's run and get that guy's autograph. So there was that, but then there's like, okay, but if me being the equivalent of that dude, and he still wanted to come over and say hi, that's really cool. Like, I mean, it's flattering. It's like, hey,
that is nice.
That's rad
cool.
that we have at least one listener that likes us.
Did you tell your parents? You got to tell your parents.
I didn't tell anyone other than you guys.
for your autograph.
Well, now I told the world, I guess, but it's kind of embarrassing. But there's no way. It was so weird. But also, the guy, if you're listening, like, hey, man, sorry if I seemed weird. I just don't know how to. I didn't know how to respond. That was new to me. It was like I couldn't tell you like, no, I can't write in there without seeming like a dick. But though I could just say like, just trust me, man.
Next time, just be really arrogant about it. Like,
well, there's nothing. I
don't do that anymore.
I gave up on that. I signed
$5.
I signed one autograph.
Did you check eBay to see if it's up there?
But
buy it now.
That was cool. It was an interesting story, and I hope it was.
Congratulations!
It's
I liked
interesting to me.
You're famous.
It's never happened.
And then, my friend was like, "Does that happen a lot?" Because he's not even really much of a gamer. He's like a experimental biologist up in the Seattle area at the moment.
They probably don't get many autograph hounds.
No, and he was just like, he's like, "What's going on?" Like.
I got recognized in Hawaii on a luau with my wife and kid.
We heard this one before, though.
Every week. Remember how when I was famous?
Someone
I'm famous like you, Shawn.
And we had the airport. Your story of like you saw someone reading your art magazine.
3 fucking stories.
So you actually approached him. That's worse. That would be like
not that.
I'm walking down the
different
street
story.
and I'm like, dude, you want my autograph?
That's a different story. Fine.
All right.
Move
You can
on.
tell it again if you want.
No, I'm done. Talk about that Quake Wars. However, I challenge you, when you get to the end of your enemy territory Quake Wars story, I want you to use the name of the game in the conclusion of your preview, the thing that we have a pet peeve about today.
Okay.
The way...
Yeah, like a clever pun.
A clever pun on the name, like, I can't wait to invade that enemy territory. But see, that's not clever. You need a better one.
Well, yeah.
That
Quake
you gotta-
Wars
you come up with a better one
may
than that.
shake the very
It sounded like
foundation of
such
the
a
earth.
bad mama joke.
Yeah, ew. I
uh,
like to invade her enemy. All right, go ahead.
all right. Now I'm gonna have to spend the whole time thinking about how to wrap it up. And I do mean wrapping it up. So no, enemy territory, invading it. You got to wrap it up if you're gonna invade that issue. Know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
You still don't get it? Wrap the polyurethane?
I get it. I got it.
All right. Okay, so Quake Wars, playing that beta. Don't know what to say now. No, I'm really liking it. I'm playing it like crazy. The first thing when you fire it up, though, is like to go into it with Battlefield goggles on, which is interesting because when we're all playing Battlefield, we spend half the time, even though we love it, bitching about all the little things that are messed up. Oh, God, how long has DICE been making games? How come they can't get the browser right? How come this vehicle blows up if it hits a rock or something like that, you know? But then you go into Quake Wars and everyone's like immediately, oh, God, the vehicles handle like shit or this and that, you know? And basically what I'm getting from it, what I'm getting from the complaints that I heard first are basically it's not Battlefield, you know, or whatever. You can't go on like a 50 kill spree just because you get your hands on an aircraft or something like that, you know. But
do you think that it's a huge part of the beta crowd are BF players?
I think there's got to be. I mean, if you like that type of game, you know, you're gonna crap stands to reason you're gonna be playing it. I've really been waiting for it for the same reason that I kind of got over the hill with Battlefield 2 after playing it. I don't know. I think I got like total like 700 hours or something, and then just started coming back to it recently. But it's like I want that category of game with a fresh experience to be there, and so it's cool in that way. But so even I was reacting that way at first. But again, this is like just the slightest complaint you can have. And instead, it's curious though that like when you go in, you're not like, wow, here's a group that has one game that has started as a mod and that they were commissioned by id to create, and who, like all mod makers, just have this enormous store of ideas, and they sound completely out there, they sound revolutionary and all this stuff, but then most of the time when mod makers actually go and implement them, and then the first versions of their games come out, you're like, oh, okay, that's why, like, you know, like the id or whatever didn't try this kind of thing, because it's a mess or something. But all the stuff that they're promising with deployables, and there are so many varieties of deployables, defensive and offensive, countermeasure type deployables, even radar and stuff like that. It all works, you know, to give it the vibe of an RTS or something that's happening at the same time that you're playing the shooty bang bang stuff. That stuff is totally working fine. You know, it works so well, and there's all these things that are like, okay, well, let's stop and acknowledge first what they're getting right, you know. Right. But anyway, the more I play it, then I got to that point where, you know, you just hit that, and I've always talked about this, where instead of rationalizing if the game's good or bad, you just trust your instinct for how much fun are you having, you know? You having fun? Sure. And it was like, by the end of the second night, I was like, I want to stay. It sucks, you know. If I stay up till 3, I'm only going to get 4.5 hours of sleep or whatever. But I just wanted to keep playing. All weekend I wanted to play it. My cable's been spotty, so it sucks. And every time it goes out, I feel like those old school fiends, you know, when like an EverQuest server would go down. They sit there hitting the enter button all day and talking to each other like, oh, God, I'm still trying to get in. So I felt like that and just completely loving it. There's only one map out in the beta now, but in it already, the infantry stuff is so good, you know. I mean, so, you know, at first, here's another part of the phase of, you know, appreciating the game for what it is. I'm like, okay, well, Battlefield gets the vehicles right. Maybe this is going to be the equivalent, but it gets the infantry and really nails it. Because that was apparent right off the bat. There's just, it works well enough. You know, it's got the speed of, you know, like a day at a feed or something. Not quite full Quake 4 speed. But, so, you know, running around, shooting, the guns are pretty accurate and stuff, but you have a good chance to have all these rad firefights mixed up with your bag of tricks, like, you know, tactical shields that you're throwing down. Remote drones are awesome on the Strog side. It's basically like a little electronic insect type thing with an explosive charge in it. So it's great when whatever scenario you're at and you find a guy standing on a hilltop looking through his binoculars because he's about to call in an artillery bomb, and then you just take it right in front of him and blow it up in his face, you know, when he's all zoomed in.
And that leaves you vulnerable, right? Like if you're controlling one of these drones.
So at that point, yeah, I would be sitting somewhere like doing the equivalent of looking through some kind of a sight or looking into a viewfinder so that I could see through the buzzer. And then
I have kill log, Jeff.
Yeah,
to bring back
you're
to
right.
WoW.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for the translation.
There is.
I see. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
the Eye
yeah,
of
it is.
Kilron.
It is like
Yes.
now it makes sense.
Whoa! I'm pulling the whole wall off here. I got so excited.
So that stuff is really cool. I'm completely loving the infantry. It just has
How
a
does it
good
look?
feel to it. Well, first let me go
Okay.
on with this,
Sorry.
and then I started liking the vehicles and stuff just fine, with a few exceptions. You know, they are kind of, because there's not a smooth acceleration and deceleration. There's just like all or nothing. You know, so it's like you get into a tank and suddenly you're going full speed.
Mm-hmm.
They're jerky, and also because instead of using vehicle pathing, where the map is coated with terrain that permits a vehicle to drive on it, it's basically just a vehicle. It's the terrain that's there, and then physics. It makes for, when you go boosting through a bunch of trees and over hills, it's a bumpy ass ride. You know, I mean, the kind of ride that would make you puke in real life, and it looks like that on the screen. But I got used. You know, I already started getting used to that, and like, that's a fine trade out there. I mean, I would like if they messed with the tank stuff, so you can slow down. You know, you can slow to a stop and gradually move. You know, or just even move by tapping the W key so that you can navigate slowly through, you know, buildings and stuff. Other vehicles some of them are really fun. The Strog Hog, yeah, is,
Does it have 2 Gs?
No, it doesn't. But that's like, so it's so shameful in the game, because like everything is Stroyant. We were playing, and that's basically, you know, Soylent Green.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like did Strog take, you know, down human opponents and convert them into Stroyant, which serves as both ammunition and health for them.
Awesome.
And it's not a rocket; it's a strocket. Like everything is
really?
got, like, yeah, one of those embarrassingly named things to it. So the Strog Hog has a turbo boost on it, which is cool, but it has like an energy knife sort of, you know, grill thing that when you're boosting it, it appears on the front of the vehicle. So you can it actually makes this Jeep useful against any class of vehicle, provided you hit them full speed. So you get these rad scenarios where you'll see a tank coming down the road, and traditionally in a Battlefield game, if you're in a Humvee and you see a tank, T-72 or something coming down the street, you're like, whatever, I'll try to beeline, but everyone just get the hell out and run, hopefully, you know, and just wait for us to blow up. So now you're like, okay, I'm going to juke a little bit, and if he misses me, if I can hit him full on, you know, full speed, head-on collision before he reloads and shoots me again to blow me up, I'll run right through him and just blow that thing to hell.
So this energy knife can pierce through.
It just, you can run up, you know,
cool.
full speed at a tank or a battle walker, you know, and it's got a handbrake on it, which is rad. So, you know, maybe a bunch of guys are crossing a bridge and you're like doing a sidewinder maneuver across the bridge while boosting, you know, tapping the handbrake so that you wag the vehicle around to hit anyone. If you miss, you just do a power slide 180 and come back across the bridge for him.
This doesn't sound very realistic.
Dude, Strog.
Strog.
At what point were you? We were talking about
this is
Strog
why
Hog.
This is why I would play this over like Battlefield 2. It's got Strogs in it. Aliens.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's it's slightly less realistic
I'm
than
just
Battlefield,
kidding.
but it's like, I mean, Battlefield, say you're going however many miles an hour in the jet, you hit the eject, and then you land inside the turret of a tank, and then suddenly you're driving the tank, and then you jump out. I mean, it's
That
like,
happened.
You know why? I'm excited for this game because it is not a Battlefield game. And I'm not saying that because I was a huge fan of 1942, but to me, Battlefield is at the point that Counter-Strike got to be, where the fans are so hardcore and they've been playing for so long now that I'm just intimidated to even join on. And it's like that one time you watched me play in Battlefield. And you were just standing behind me going, oh, dude.
it'll be interesting to see what happens.
You want a level playing field.
Because fans of games tend to be really freaking good at
But do you think that
games.
they're going to be able to come into Quake Wars fresh with those
They'll
skills
pick it
already?
up. I've already
And-
seen people like bunny hopping and stuff. And so if you take a good railgunner from Quake 4,
Yeah.
throw them in here, give them the same railgun, it works a little differently. But just, no scoping and bunny hopping.
I was always
You're
good at
screwed,
spawn
Jeff.
camping. Will I be able to do that?
No, not really, because
Shit.
you can do variations on it. I mean, most
How
of the
about
time you're
telefragging?
spawning inside of a... You can't do that. There's a
Oh,
teleporter.
forget it then.
So, something else that's interesting about the game is that it's an anti-Battlefield in many ways, in that they're taking... It's clear that they paid very close attention to things that they felt didn't work so well in Battlefield, and they want to address them and find solutions for it. One of those is that with the free capture point system of Battlefield, you tend to unevenly distribute the action, the firefights, all across the map. And at any given moment, people can be doing like the dumbest thing possible. And a well-known example on Battlefield is a map called, so well-known that I forgot the name of it. It's just Shark Guy. It's I'm trying to think of it. Shark Guy Peninsula is what it's called. And there's a TV station that the Marines spawn at. That's their main base.
Okay.
And there's a helicopter thing there. And it's worth more points than everything else, right? And you should always, if you're that team, because you have no uncapturable spawns. So if you lose that, you're going to have to fight and get it back, and you can get pushed out. But idiots are always at any random place they can think of. They see that it's being the TV station's being captured, the hotel, or whatever. They don't care. It just, so you have all this, or where you're running around the map, you're like, it's been like 10 minutes since I've seen someone. And then the next thing you see, of course, is like an attack helicopter that's been tipped off to your location by their commander, and he just comes and like hits you with a 30-millimeter bullet or something. But so here, what they said is, let's make sure everyone is at least within reason fighting for a specific territory, and then we'll just move from there on to the next one and on to the next one. Very much like the way Return to Wolfenstein Enemy Territory works, in the way that some of the maps worked in Team Fortress, like Dust Bowl. And that I find is cool because there's already this, it's just much more intense, but they still allow room for it. So it's not each team throwing every asset they have at the same point. They distribute it by saying, okay, well, if you're the Strog and say you're defending this site where the humans want to build a giant EMP disruptor that's going to take down your base's shields and let them in for the next phase, you're going to want to put up anti-personnel turrets, anti-vehicle turrets and stuff, and that's going to give you an advantage. The humans can't build that stuff there until they capture it. However, they are sending in big artillery stuff that they're making. And then you're like, okay, if you're Strog, we need to put up a laser barrier that's going to shoot these missiles out of the sky as they come in to get us. And then so they say, oh, they got a laser barrier up. We need to get in and hack that. So even in the course of that example right there, you've suddenly created all these new objectives. Like, okay, so now not only do you need to make the EMP thing, you need to destroy their shield so that you can get continued fire support. You might want to just go up on the hill on the tank on the side and then just spam shells down into the hot zone.
Now that's what I remember when they demoed this game. I guess it's 2 E3s ago.
Yeah,
was how much fun every individual objective was.
Right.
That it wasn't like a free for all. It wasn't a capture point thing like a Battlefield. But there was still a very sort of manic and frantic team based attempt to solve these problems and get on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And there was a lot to do other than just shoot people. That was super fun.
And they still, there's a lot to do, and they'll still have like auxiliary spawn points so that you can one that can be captured and recaptured, and that's there. You don't have to have it, but it helps. It saves you the time to get to the front line when it's there. So that becomes like another secondary objective. There are tertiary things where you're like, okay, say we need to get into some sewers and we can blow one door off. Well, maybe there's another door, and then there are multiple ways. And eventually, as you can choose to open one and just rush for the final objective, or open them all so that their forces are spread thinner. You have more ways in, more access. All that works really well. I played more maps than the one called Sewer that's available on the beta, so I know like that it works that way in every case. It also gives you a chance for cool variety within a single map.
Right.
So you may start off in the Arctic, and then you end up inside like a lush biodome, all kinds of greenery and stuff.
Keep going. Keep talking.
Jeff,
I'm scribbling a secret note.
Wrap that shit up.
No.
No.
I'm sorry.
None of the stuff's NDA.
Okay.
Has lifted. The embargo has lifted.
Sean, should you not be talking about this?
Okay.
I'm glad we
that's
talked
clear.
about it on air after writing it.
As we're doing it. So some of the other maps, I previewed them. I talked about them a long time ago. They've been in our issue before. I'm really hoping, the Canyon is an awesome map that takes place in the equivalent of the Grand Canyon, and it ends up inside like these volcanic tunnels. So before we move on, I was thinking what else I need to say. There's some issues that need to be worked out clearly. This is a beta, a true beta, in the sense that betas have always been. But another thing is people having just come off of betas and demos and betas clothing like Halo and stuff are saying like, well, this doesn't work, or the vehicle shoots the machine gun and the laser when I shoot. And
it's beta.
Well, it's a beta. Right. And then the other thing that's annoying for me too, because I want to champion. Well, at the point now, just based on the amount of fun I'm having, I do want to proselytize for it, because it's like I think straight up, I think this is there's so much potential in this game. I love playing it. After we're done with this, we go fish the bags. I'm going to go home and play it some more tonight. But, there's stuff that betas will have, and it's not just like, well, they've been working on this for years and they haven't fixed that. But oftentimes when they iterate and they just, one little change in code can have an adverse side effect somewhere else. It'll reintroduce stuff that they already have fixes for. That just happens. That's how it works. So don't freak, because there's no way Activision, id, and Splash Damage are going to release this game so that your rate of fire is, with the accurized lacerator is going to be randomly switching between single shot and burst. They will fix that stuff. So instead, be helpful, I say, with the beta, and think about the real issues. Like, is the Tormentor, the Strog aircraft, is it useful enough, right? I think, personally, I think it flies well, but I don't think it does enough damage to justify the effort of going and getting in it, and it's relatively easy to shoot down. Now, I understand that they, unlike Battlefield, they want to make a game with vehicles, but not a game about vehicles. And the trick is, I don't think they're in danger of that thing being a point monster, because, like I said, there's so many ways. It's slow enough, you can hit it with tank shells. And another interesting thing in this game is that any small arms fire will kill a pilot of any vehicle. You could shoot a tank, and if enough of you are shooting a tank with machine guns, it just attributes a certain percentage of that hit to the driver, and you can
okay.
So you avoid the whole problem of like, oh, well, I don't have a rocket, so I can't take that thing out. But the thing is super easy to kill, so you might as well make it a little more powerful. That goes for a few things. There's issues with the Strog tank. There's issues with the GDF Humvee. I think it would be cool if they made it so engineers can change the weapon loadout on top. So instead of like the weak turrets on there now, if you're an engineer with upgrades, maybe you could put grenade launchers on there, a missile and stuff like that. But all in all, I mean, play it, and it's such a different game than Battlefield. I really recommend giving it that chance. And then when we're on forums talking about stuff, instead of just saying like, spending so much time bitching about how a frame of animation's missing, between when you put your thumb on the Gatling gun button and when you take it off. I mean, let's focus our energies as people who want this game to be great on stuff that's going to be helpful and that they can.
However, you're talking about message board posters. So.
Yeah, exactly. I'm talking about message board posters, not us.
No, but I mean, it's going to be negative because that's what people do.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Well, I was thinking for a minute, you're like, because that's another thing. It's not my job to make this a good game, but I'm saying this as as a player and to my fellow message board fiends.
There was a guy on our message board who was bitching about the performance of SimCity societies
a video
on the One Up Show video.
Right.
And at the very beginning of the gameplay video, it says,
pre-alpha.
"This is pre-alpha. The game will not be running, with or something." It has a flat-out disclaimer about the performance. And this guy was bitching anyway, saying, "Yeah, but then they shouldn't have put it out there because now I don't trust." They just shouldn't. If they want to make their game look good, then they shouldn't.
This
put
goes back
this
to the
out
whole
there.
Dennis Dyack.
Well, yeah, in fact, that got referenced.
Yeah. I don't want to drag that up again.
But yeah.
You're gonna go steady with this game, Sean?
Yeah, you sound like you have a crush on it.
If they release this shit the way it is now, even with the jank, I could tell I would still go steady with it.
You have a crush.
You want me to give you that tagline I proposed before?
Yes.
Hell no, you don't, dude.
Oh wait, no, not that.
Surprised me, dude.
Oh, sorry. No, God, no. You can't say that on air.
Huh? Uh-oh.
He had a nasty thing. It's an A over.
The GFW Radio motto.
Yeah, no. No, I thought. Did you come up with your closer that I asked for in your preview?
No, I didn't. You're gonna have to help me out.
Okay.
Something about the Quake. The big one shakes up.
Battlefield 2 should be quaking in its boots.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go.
Come this fall.
Come this fall,
yeah.
Battlefield 2.
I feel it's my duty to heed this call.
Yeah, just so nobody accuses us of in-jokes here. What we're talking about is our today's pet peeve, which is game previews that end with some like fucking stupid ass pun on the name of the game, as if that's something actually like clever.
Yeah.
So watch your local game magazines. Watch for that. Watch for when they put the name of the game in the end of the preview,
And websites.
And websites, yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah. We need to be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, watch out.
Like, let's do one for SimCity Societies right now, just so people know what we're talking about. I can't wait to join that society when this game ships this fall.
It's so hard not referencing the specific ones that we are looking at today.
Yeah. You could do this for anything. For any game. Yeah. We'll stop right there.
Yeah, we're so close to
That's
heading.
hate talk.
We always want to go into this tangent where we just like do our beef with like bad industry trends, but we can't get into it for fear.
You know,
But the other thing
we don't want to look
like,
snotty.
we need to, but just in general in the industry,
Even
I think
though we
we'd be
are.
better
Even though
off
we are.
if we weren't always so eager. We've made fun of this before, like to say that we were the first to do this or the first to see that, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the reason being is because it's kind of like conceding that, well, our job is basically to ride the units of to ride the units of publishers and developers and PR and whatever.
When you
it's
say
like,
unit,
yeah,
Never mind.
I'm using diffused language here.
Okay.
So to ride the units of these, and you're saying, well, of course that's what we do, and so the only gauge of excellence is if we were the first or if we got sloppy seconds. You know, and it's like
this is part of the basically grade school level we're still operating in this industry. You do not see in movie magazines when they're doing when they're on set going to see whatever the new Scorsese movie. I was the first person on the set to get to talk to Martin Scorsese.
Let's go to Inical News.
It's not a fucking race. No, you're right. You're right. Except for Harry Knowles, who for all intents and purposes is a game journalist.
And we're not
He's at that level of quality.
underscore. We're not saying this out of any kind. Like I swear to you, I can assure you, this has nothing to do with we're jealous that we didn't get whatever, that we weren't the first one.
No,
it's
not at all.
legitimately. I think it's legitimately detrimental and a black eye for what we do. It makes us look like complete assholes. It makes us look like idiots.
We get these same exclusives at our magazine. We're happy when we get them.
And
we
readers
like when
will
we
know.
get stuff.
Our audience knows when something's fucking new. They're on the message boards all the time. And it's like, if something's new, it's not going to be like, oh, look.
They said it was new.
The whole thing
Here's
is like you're making the story.
I never heard about this. I wonder if it's
Exactly.
new. Too bad they didn't spend 300 words telling me.
Instead of 300 words about how you got the story. That's the thing that bothers me. The story should not be about you. It should be about the game.
Right.
The thing.
Yeah.
Yes, we know you got it. We're reading the fucking article.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah, it's
Get
not
it.
like you got an interview with J.D.
Jesus.
Salinger or something, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
Or some other
Yay for you.
infamous recluse.
Yeah.
I swear, if I see that shit, I just redline it every time. Get it out. You know, you could say it once, maybe. Maybe.
No. I'd take
On
that
the cover.
flat out. Yeah, well, the cover makes sense.
Which
for
is
that.
basically
But the
just a
story-
marketing tool anyway.
Yeah, if you bought the thing, you've already paid. You know, and people could tell. You don't need to be if the exclusivity of something's going to be of value to the reader, they're already appreciative of it by the fact that it's there. They'll know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. The greater hilarity now, too, with the magazines is that usually most of the shit is leaked out on the internet anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you got it first, you
Right. Instead,
How come I've been reading about it for 3 weeks
the
then?
same amount of energy, we expended the same amount of energy trying to write the best stories rather than the first stories of everything,
Here, here.
we would be somewhere.
Amen.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Also-
end of rant. No.
And,
No, rant continues?
well, I'm just going to say, we know we're not perfect either.
Totally.
We make mistakes. We're constantly trying to correct that course of
But
action.
that's just one
These are
mistake that
bad
we're trying-
habits in this industry that need to go away.
True that. And speaking
Across
of
the
bad
board.
habits, ranting on podcasts about random ass shit is a good one. And Jeff, we wanted to talk about
What?
brain games.
Oh my God! Look at the time already. Holy shit!
We take a break?
Yeah, we're gonna take a break and we'll come back and we'll rant some more for you.
Yeah.
This One Up podcast is brought to you by Games for Windows. Welcome to Better PC Gaming. Created with the idea that gaming should deliver more. Games for Windows branded titles bring you all the fun of gaming without all the work. And with the hottest titles around and Windows Vista compatibility, Games for Windows promises to deliver great new gaming experiences every time you play.
So we have what's our next rant? Well, we were ranting with each other on AIM this morning.
Yeah,
We wanted to do that
we were
one.
bitching about because what's the announcement? The whole thing is
It came from the announcement.
it's basically the phrenology genre of games.
Right.
Games that whatever they say that they will make your brain either heavier, younger, more agile, whatever the case might be. That's the each game. So Brain Age makes
the
it
news item
squishier,
today
Big
was
Brain
that,
Academy makes it
rounder.
heavier.
Right. So there was a news item today, I think on Next Gen site, that Nicole Kidman had been picked as she was going to be the face of the Brain Age games for the DS.
Oh.
And there was a quote from the marketing director,
Right.
that was like, we think Europeans are going to be really excited to learn of this. That Nicole Kidman was
So,
the face of the brain.
Okay.
so it just led to this rant where, I was talking about in all the coverage for that game when it first came out, and it was a fun game. Totally, it's a good game. It's fun.
Yeah, it's really.
But
fun.
in all the coverage, everyone's just eating up this. Like, there's a doctor, and he helped make this game. His name is there's a guy with a PhD in front of his name, and he's in this game. And I was pointing out to Jeff, how suddenly we're pretty discerning in the way that we apply, our thinking when people are trying to leverage science, against us or something. When someone says, "Oh, we've scientifically proven that gaming makes you a homicidal maniac," and you immediately, and rightfully so, go and say, "Well,
wow,
okay, except this is very, very bad science." But then someone starts throwing some wretched science our way, but says it's beneficial to us. We're like, this is it. Gaming's making your shit smarter. Gaming's making your brain fucking bigger. Gaming's making your brain younger. And we're like, let's write about that.
An actual doctor helped make this game.
Yeah, but so who's that doctor? I mean,
exactly. Well, part of it is wanting to believe it, because the first time I fired a brain agent, it told me it was stimulating my prefrontal cortex, and it showed me a little picture of my prefrontal cortex being stimulated. I was ready to believe. I'm like, damn.
And when your brain age started getting younger, did you feel like you were getting smarter?
It dropped 60 years in a day.
See?
And
you probably felt good about yourself, didn't you?
A little bit.
This game has exercised my brain. It worked. I'm smarter.
There's some pinhead out there who the DS told him that his brain weighs something like 80 pounds.
As if I don't even know if prefrontal cortex stimulation is a good or bad thing. I'm just like, it is?
I went
Great.
from 340 to 380 this week. It's just my brain, though. It's all good.
Yeah.
I'll just keep eating the pork rinds.
I attribute it to my brain weight.
So I guess, Shawn, you Googled this doctor, right?
Uh-oh.
Well, I just wanted to look, I'm like, okay, who is this guy? Let's look, because, as we know, throwing the credentials in front of something is oftentimes meaningless. And this guy, of course, was known beforehand. The only thing, you get when you Google his name is that he was arguing that games were detrimental to people's cognitive health prior to his signing up with Nintendo for what I'm assuming is a lucrative deal. But when you put his name in with other neuroscientists and other researchers on cognition and stuff, Steven Pinker, some of the programs at MIT, and any of the different people, you don't find anything. Every hit on this guy is about this game. So maybe he is. But I can't. The fact that he's willing to put his name on it and tell people that your brain is actually getting younger because you're doing because you're basically doing the equivalent of highlights, of filling in the interactive parts in Highlights magazine in the dentist's office. That throws that guy into the quack department. So what else did I have to say about that guy? That was pretty much it. It's just I'd like to see,
Well, I was throwing out the analogy to you that saying that this guy was a doctor and having, toting this guy out is proof that your brain is getting bigger. It's kind of like the doctors who work for the tobacco companies. Come out and prove that smoking is good for you.
Makes you run faster.
Well, our doctors say that, a pound of nicotine in your lungs is actually a good thing. It provides a healthy coating for your lungs.
I believe you, Nintendo doctor. Dr. Mario might as well be.
Dr. Mario. Yeah. Anyway, it's great for Nicole Kidman.
Wait, what does she have to do with this? Is she now a doctor? What's going on?
No, she just plays it, and
she enjoys it,
and she's a movie star, so therefore you should play it.
She plays the doctor.
Because famous movie stars play this, and their brains are getting.
Is her virtual head going to be in the game talking to you and giving you math equations to try?
What would be great is if her actual.
We started ranting before we read that far into it.
Yeah, we did. We were already riffing on it. Maybe her actual real head starts getting bigger.
Right.
Then we're going to have this freak Nicole Kidman with this giant head out there. That'd be awesome.
What's 7 times 6?
13.
So what?
You win.
What else are you guys playing? I'm going to do this out of order.
What else are you playing? Nice transition.
You like that? You see what I did there?
Segue of the year.
How about that weather?
That was science right there.
Ryan, you're playing something again, aren't you?
I am.
Other than the usual.
Well, I played a couple things over the weekend. One of the things I've been doing, I just did our hot list page for the magazine, which
tell the listeners what that is.
we recommend 5 games each month that are out and have been out and are good and are worth playing if you haven't happened to miss them.
That sounds great. Where can I get that?
Didn't we already say that? GFW magazine.
Trying to do a spontaneous commercial with you.
He's not having it.
No.
And
Yeah.
I'm the one who puts that together every month usually. And one of the games that I put in the issue that we're shipping now is Ticket to Ride.
Ah, yes.
Um,
A fine game.
Which, you know, I think we've talked about that on the podcast before.
We have.
And it's an awesome game.
Board game conversion.
Yep.
Like Catan, and this week Carcassonne on Xbox Live Arcade.
I don't even know what that is.
Wanker.
That name.
Poser. Carcassonne?
Carcassonne.
Sounds
Good.
like a condition.
No.
It's the condition of fun.
Is that Carcassonne? I can't stay with you tonight.
Is that
Or
contagious?
Italian for underwear or something, you know.
It's Italian for fun.
All right. And
Ticket to
what
Ride.
else? Ticket to Ride.
So I've been playing Ticket to Ride.
Have you been playing
this weekend,
bots or have you been playing humans?
I've been playing online.
Yeah? How you doing?
Nah, there's some really good people online.
Quite a few playing too.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very
I mean,
popular
it's-
game.
Yeah, this was an award-winning board game. It's very popular over in Germany. So there's
I'm a huge Ticket to Ride fan. Great game. Board game and online game.
the online one's better.
Is it pretty much-
Surprisingly, though, you get whiners and cheaters online.
What?
Kind of weird
Is it
phenomenon.
Is it a straight-up conversion of the board game?
Yeah, it
Like,
is.
Okay,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
Except with animated trains instead of little pieces.
Yeah, you get people whining when you do things like actually use strategy.
When you block. Or
When you block.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
You know, man.
I normally can't play board games on my computer. But I haven't really tried too many of them. Like Monopoly or whatever. I can play that in company, but like it's a terrible game.
How is there must be a time limit on each turn, I hope.
No.
That's one of the big problems I have with board
So you
games.
Yeah, no,
just
there's
sit there
not.
while
There's
like Dietrich has to go take a shit or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Dieter.
Eventually, the game will throw them out, though.
Yeah.
And then a bot takes its place.
Pretty
But
much-
the bot
yeah,
sucks,
that
so
sounds
that's
like a
actually
great-
worse.
Pretty much any turn-based strategy game that didn't have simultaneous moves I could not stand. Like Heroes of Might and Magic, some of the earlier ones, I don't know if they fixed that later. They would
Yeah.
you'd be sitting there and it's like, oh my god, got 4 more people
Yeah.
to wait for. Not
Yeah.
fun.
Well, because it's like, you know how frustrated you get when your friend and someone you like takes too long to make their move? Imagine some asshole you don't know and therefore don't like.
Yeah. Well, when you join the Ticket to Ride games, they always say, like, fast game only, please. Things are called like that. Of course, that's just in it.
Big gold.
That's
Noobs
just
only.
a temptation to noobs only.
Big gold ticket to ride.
Yeah, that's a temptation to go in there and grief them.
I used to, we had all the,
play next.
Ticket to Ride griefing.
We had the-
One, man.
in RTSs, I have like the ongoing tradition of the big fun games. I just call them like big fun, and then like we make my name will be like Obija, and then my friend's name is Tremendo.
There you go, making fun of those people again,
and then we
Sean.
start.
Every week.
Man, what's your
without fail.
problem?
Then like it always ends up like BBW talks and stuff. But also then we had like the Turgid Fun series. Which if that's not making you laugh, fuck you. It's
I
funny.
didn't get it.
All right, let's go get a dictionary then.
All right. I was still stuck on Obija.
Turgid.
You know how I wanted to steal that.
Tremendo.
But those are always the games that we would run, like in Company Heroes, when the big fun series of games. We'd always. It was funny because we'd give, by the very name of the game, we would give away our tactic to someone if someone had played us before, and before they had patched it. During one of the patch phases, you could run. I don't know, with about a like 85% success rate, like a game where you can completely wipe out the Axis by getting half tracks into their back base that had guns on them, and before they had any AT stuff up,
Mm-hmm.
and you had to time it right. You had to just go you had to basically put your entire strategy into building these and getting them over in their back base as soon as we could. But then, like the whole time, you just ask them, "Are you having big fun? How big is the fun? How big is the fun you're having?" It's over and over again.
It's pretty big.
All right.
Aw.
right. And what else are you playing, Ryan? You're playing one other thing.
I'm back on Lord of the Rings Online.
Yay.
Which is
What?
what? Yeah, it's
Are you still liking it?
still fun. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a very high level. My highest level guy is only 8.
Oh my god.
You're not really playing then, are you?
I keep starting over with new classes. I can't.
Who's your new guy now? What's his name?
His name is Gallon. Like a gallon of milk.
Gallon?
Yes.
Nice.
He's a dwarven minstrel. Gotta say, I like the minstrel.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do? You like sing to heal people? Is that right?
Well, like you sing.
Play your lute.
So far,
Oh, that's the class that does that? You sing
Yeah.
and people to help them?
Yeah.
So it's like dudes are going and fighting, you're up on the hill.
You are the wind beneath my wings.
Like, they're all getting stronger.
You get buffs for that.
Yeah.
That's, I
Pretty much
guess,
it.
pretty much what you do.
Do you sing into your mic while you're
bard.
doing that?
Standard
Yeah, it's a
bard.
bard. It's a bard.
Oh, that would be an awesome mechanic.
If you could actually use voice chat to do that.
That's the DS version.
I'm healing
Yeah.
you for 12 points of damage.
No, well, the minstrel, it's cool because like all of your little chants or whatever.
Yeah.
They hurt the monsters, but then they also do something beneficial as well.
Your singing hurts people? Hurts
Singing
the monsters?
Hurts monsters.
Yeah, that's
And it's
good.
ranged, so you'll be
helps.
sitting there like wailing on your lute, and the monster will be like way over on the other side of the,
Huh.
Sounds like
the
some rad
wilderness.
stuff.
Wailing on your lute.
You like that, right? Conceptually, that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I love it, Sean.
Do you imagine songs in your head as you're attacking them with your flute?
There should be downloadables for that.
I said lute, not flute. Sorry, no, that's supposed to be Ryan.
Oh, I get it.
Are there downloadable songs?
That I'm aware of. I know
What
there's
is
apparently
love?
some system within the game where you can make music to a limited degree.
Uh-huh.
Oh, like
'Cause
in
it'd be great if you could just
Star Wars
wail on-
Galaxies. That was
Oh,
awesome.
yeah, that's right.
You could learn. You could play "What Is Love" on your on the.
That's true. On the
Oh,
keyboard.
yeah, I heard that, yeah.
Right. Since you've been gone, yeah, you could just start, busting out the
That
hits
would
there.
never get annoying.
We're such haters.
I only see the bad potential in anything.
That's why you work here, Sean. That's why we hired
No,
you.
we're just having fun. I mean, well, what are we gonna say, dude? It's just it's fucking incredible.
Wow, you're a minstrel?
I'm out in the field,
Yeah.
and there are like Zargadil bears coming at me, which are like the normal bears, except they're blue.
Right.
But these guys, they're like level 20. So I get up on the crest,
Yeah.
and I just like launch into, you're the wind beneath my wings. And my teammates, you could see them. Like I could tell, they were in TeamSpeak, but even if they weren't, I could tell that I was uplifting them, that they were becoming more powerful, and that therefore they had a great and enhanced likelihood of beating those bears.
I was
because
doing
of that.
slash fist pump while you were saying.
So do you get like famous Tolkien songs like in your collection?
Yeah.
Like here's the Leoluthian bitch.
Is that a real Tolkien song? If I'm
it
all
might
quiet,
be.
it's because
Some Tom Bombadil song.
Yeah.
when I say the Dargadil Hills or something, I'm making,
You're making
it up.
that up.
When you
Oh,
you
say
made that up?
Leoluthian, I assume
I'm
that
not-
you're referring to like this encyclopedia of Tolkien.
I'm not telling.
We like it. We're only kidding. We like it.
It's good.
It is good. I'm a little burnt on it now, but I'll come back to it.
I went back to WoW.
So did I.
I got to the loot playing level.
Inevitably.
As soon as I got my flute and I could spam people with it, then I was like, this is just the same as any of these games.
But you've never made it past any reasonable level in this game.
I did. I ascended in. I got to level 20 in Guild Wars.
Did you?
Yeah,
All right, that kind of counts.
got to the end game scenario.
That
And level
counts. I
20
didn't
in
know you
Guild
did
Wars,
that.
of course, is like as high as it goes.
The cap.
Right.
I hit
Okay.
the cap.
I stand corrected. I apologize to you, Sean.
How dare you say that to me?
I'm gonna write a song about you.
I apologize to you, Shawn Elliott.
Ryan,
Yeah, we're all just healed
making
now.
me feel. I don't like that. I don't
That'll
like
hurt.
the way that makes me feel.
All right, we're kind of hitting our deadline.
Ryan, you had real quick before we go. You had some reader questions, listener questions.
Oh, do we want to talk about the one Shadowrun thing? Because this happened just yesterday online.
I don't know. Let's talk about it if we want to talk about it.
How much
we
is
can
there?
do-
No, we
say-
get busted when we do that.
No, go.
All right, there was a crack.
Drop it.
No, we're not
No.
going to talk about that.
No, talk about it. Drop it is like.
Oh, drop
hit
it.
me
I
with that
see.
shit.
Drop it is
I
good.
get it.
Yeah.
You're using that cool lingo on me. Okay,
Is this-
I will drop some knowledge on you.
Is this bad as in bad or bad as in good?
Drop
Shadowrun. Apparently, somebody found out that if you just take a few files out of the directory, the ones that say, like, this is Vista only, you now suddenly have a non-Vista only game. Now suddenly the game can run on XP, which is
Right.
kind of a lulz sort of moment.
It just confirms what we knew is that the game doesn't necessarily need the X10 or whatever
Right.
to
Right.
run.
Doesn't
It's
need the
just that
X10,
they,
but
Doesn't need
they
Vista.
need the game to sell Vista.
right. But it does still need Vista
It needs
to
live.
play live,
Yeah.
Right.
which is the only way to play the game, right?
It doesn't,
Correct.
technically, it doesn't need that. That's their decision, too. It's
Well, yeah,
like,
yeah,
well, that's
totally.
their decision.
They could have done it
Yeah.
without that,
Yeah.
obviously.
And that's their decision for that game.
Yes.
But I just
right.
realized I almost revealed something I know about some other games that are going to be on Games for Windows Live.
Oh,
in the future.
spill it, you tease.
No,
Tell us.
you want me? You don't want me to spill this stuff, but we'll come back.
You don't,
to it.
Jeff.
A few weeks
I
from
don't?
now, we will.
Okay.
And there's evidence that never mind.
Oh, I hate when people do that.
I do too. I honestly didn't mean to do it. I wasn't doing that. So it'd be like, buy our magazine, buy our magazine, buy our magazine.
We saw it first.
That's a minstrel song.
We got the exclusive first. We saw it first.
We were the ones.
We saw it before anyone. First!
All right, so
Okay,
yeah, it's just it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, well, like I never got around to saying it. I'm running Vista at home now, and I like it.
Yeah, you do like it now.
And
You're a convert.
It's done me good. I
Shawn
have
for Windows.
no problems. Yeah, no problems with that. I was
Sweet.
sitting there wondering the whole time. It's like, you guys are just crusty
still-
old bastards who are always afraid of change.
Oh, I see.
Or
So
still-
now you're being that way.
Or maybe you got burned by it in the past in ways by new operating systems where I haven't.
I have.
So
XP.
okay, we'll call it that. That'll make you crusty, and rightfully so. But
it does.
I've had, outside of the problem with Creative's drivers, and that's definitely a problem with Creative. You see all the hate directed toward them on there because what actually fixed it was 3 dudes put together some piecemeal thing that worked better than their driver. But everything else, it's nice. It's cool to use, and how it's just like an OS. You don't really notice that much of a difference until it just creeps into your life, and then you go and I come to the office and I use XP, and they're like, this feels kind of ghetto.
Yeah.
You know what I think?
Even using the Vista machine here is pretty. It's pretty.
I think Microsoft contacted Shawn Elliott behind my back. Yeah, they thought, we're thinking you might make a better editor-in-chief, Shawn Elliott. I'd like to get on